Welcome back, you wonderful viewers. I hope you all had a wonderful day. Tonight we are looking at CCIV stock. CCIV today is seeing a green candlestick. That is good. Obviously, the past month for CCIV, it hasn't been the best. We are seeing a lot of sell-off action this month. Obviously, a lot of this market, being the EV market, has taken a hit. So you know what? CCIV was expected to fall with the rest of them. Fortunately though, today we are seeing a bit of green. The price is up by about 5.2%, which is good. And of course, a lot of the market isn't doing too bad today either. The past 5 days is still in the red, unfortunately, but you can see that prominent pullback that we have seen today. Of course, increasing the price by a large amount. I think if we see about 2 or 3 more days of this prominent growth, we are going to be coming back to where we were at the start of the 5-day period. And of course, even perhaps breaking past 5-day highs, which is good. Again, the past month is still showing very bad things as we are down massively. We started off the month on a price up here of around $26. Of course, we have fallen now by a large amount from there, but you know what? It is what it is. And the past 6 months, well, it is a mixed story. Initially, things were doing really well. Of course, being a SPAC stock, the price started off at about $10. Then we rocketed all the way up to this high up here of about 52. And of course, that is because this whole sector of EVs is hyped. Anyway, we're going to talk more about this in just a moment. But if you may enjoy the video, I must state that you should subscribe if you have not already. Of course, I'm not a financial advisor, but if you do want to hear stock market related videos every single day, this is a place for you. We talk about the latest and the most hot stocks. We talk about the latest and the hottest cryptos as well. So of course, if you're interested in either or both of those things, this is the place for you. Anyway, let us jump into this video now, looking at what we have been seeing more recently. So for a bit of context, realistically, the past 6 months, as I have just mentioned, well, it's a mixed story, to be honest. Of course, we are seeing highs up here, bringing us up to about $50+. And again, this is because there was a lot of hype around this EV market sector. It makes sense, and you know what, $58 for an EV SPAC, it's not the worst. We have seen much higher than that. And you know what, guys, with SPACs, with EV SPACs especially, I am usually quite apprehensive. I think a lot of investors now are apprehensive, but for different reasons than I am. The reason why I am usually apprehensive with these EV SPACs, or at least previously was, is because they just rocketed straight off the bat. And some of these EV companies, I'm not trying to diss any of the companies or disrespect them in any kind of way, but obviously some of the companies do not have the best revenue sheets or the best, strategies for growth in the future. Now, this is something which does concern me when the prices do rocket for past $50 and above, especially for a company that has low revenue or even no revenue like CCIV. Again, long term this definitely could pay off, but I think $50 was overpriced. $19 up to $20, I think that is more of a reasonable estimate. I think it's more of an understandable estimate, and I think it is fair. Once more, we need to understand that the stock price did start off at about $10 anyway, being a SPAC. So of course we are going to get a bit of hype in there, bringing us up a little bit to around usually $15 to $20. So again, this is really an acceptable level for me. So would I consider this stock a buy right now? Personally, I do think it is not the worst buy that we have seen over the past few weeks. If you guys do remember from the last video, we looked at the fundamentals of the company in quite a decent amount of detail. I would recommend giving that video a watch. Again, feel free to type in N2S Finance CCIV stock. It was a video that we made last, I do believe, where we did address some of the company's growth targets, which were pretty good. So if you do know the deal with CCIV or Lucid Motors, which I'm sure you do, CCIV is to merge with Lucid Motors. Lucid Motors is an electric vehicle company. They produce electric cars. You can see one of their models on screen right now. It is called the Lucid Air. The car starts at about $70,000. Obviously, it's got a range of about 500 plus miles, and the max horsepower is 1,080. So a few things to decipher from there. Price is a bit too high in my opinion. For what it is, this car does compete with cars such as a Model S and perhaps some of the other more expensive cars in the petrol sector or even the diesel sector from other brands such as Audi or BMW, for example. So obviously it's competitively priced, and for an electric vehicle it gives people an extra option over the Tesla Model X or Model S, which are both in a very similar price range. So you know what, whilst the price is too high for a lot of people, for the type of car that it is, for the amount of car that you get for the money, it's appropriately priced. So again, for this car it's not bad, but I would like to see something cheaper from CCIV Lucid Motors going forwards. And as you do remember from the last video, if you have watched it, they did talk about the potential of a very cheap electric car and how they want to see this come into play and into fruition in the next few years. And I think this is going to be a big deal for CCIV, or even Lucid Motors rather, if they do manage to come through with that claim. If they can make a relatively cheap electric car in the range of between $15,000 and $25,000, I think we could see a lot of revenue heading this company's way, because there are a lot of people that want to do well by the planet. They want to drive electric vehicles, they want to drive something cool and modern that represents something like a Tesla, but obviously a lot of cars in $25,000 and under range are petrol, if not even diesel. So again, we do need a change to something electric in that price range, and if CCIV or Lucid Motors even are the company to do that, I think their revenue will be looking great for future years. So let's move back to this car which we already have as an offering right now. The car does obviously have 500 plus miles of range, which is insane. 500 miles puts it up there with some of the best electric vehicles as far as battery range is concerned. So we're seeing big claims from Lucid Motors for their car, and if they can live up to these claims, this is going to be one of their better electric cars and one of the best electric cars out there. So we can see all the different ranges and all the different versions of the Lucid Motors car. We've got this one that's cost $161,000 apparently, which is a Dream Edition. Obviously you can just get a bit of a perspective of some of the pricing and some of the different models of cars, some of them more expensive than others, but the whole idea of the Lucid Air is that it is one car, as you can see, one body shape with obviously a lot of different features and a lot of different price ranges. So I think that the whole idea, looking at what we can see, is that the Lucid Air as a car does offer something which is there for everybody. There are some models which will fit pretty much everybody's needs, especially at that price range. Anyway, now one thing which I do want to focus on for holders of CCIV and Lucid Motors, this is something which I talk about with a lot of our electric vehicle stock videos, is that I think EV stocks do have a lot of potential for the most part. A lot of electric vehicle companies like NIO, even XPeng in there, ChargePoint, and even Tesla, for example, they do have big growth potential from where they are now, but I think it is important to note that obviously this is not going to happen overnight. Now this is something which a Nasdaq actually backs me up on. So this is an article coming from Nasdaq, and by the way, full disclaimer, that this article from Nasdaq is an opinion related article. It's obviously not, necessarily a fact related one, because on the Nasdaq they do have news articles as well as obviously official information. So again, this is just an article and not necessarily something 100% guaranteed to be important. Anyway, it says that you should only buy CCIV stock if you are willing to hold it for 5 years at least. I 100% agree with that statement. Lucid Motors, as I have said, their claims for growth, their whole growth perspective, which they want to see in the future, is insane. They could be seeing a lot of growth as a company in the next 5 to 10 years. I think, this stock is going to benefit the people who do hold it for the longest. So I definitely think Lucid Motors right now is a buy, CCIV is a buy, but obviously if you are willing to buy it, like I said, do hold it for the longer amount of time, because I think it is going to take a longer amount of time to see electric vehicles become more commonplace, to see their cars become, into production, and to see more and more models from the company resulting in better and better revenue figures as the business does develop. That's just my personal thoughts, so make sure to give this video a like, and feel free to check out our video on AMC, which we made just a few hours ago. I say that because I did have the tab open anyway, so I thought I would just give you a recommendation to watch that video. Feel free to watch any of the others on the channel though. I will see you all again very, very soon for another update on CCIV and many other stocks. Thank you, see you soon.